Chicago, it was a poor choice of words. In the Dodgers' fifth game this season, they trusted Kenley Jansen with a 6-3 lead, just about the safest place in baseball to put a 3-run lead since Jansen became a full-time closer in 2014. He blew it. Chris Owings hit a 3-run home run sending the game into extra innings. Then he blew it again. Responding to reporters' questions after the game, Jansen tried to put the game into perspective, 5 games into a 162-game schedule. "Who cares?" he said. "Who cares? It's one game." The comment came across as childish and churlish. For those who know him, though, the answer to Jansen's question was obvious: he cares. "When we're not playing well, we know it," Dodgers locker neighbor and friend Matt Kemp said. "Nothing anyone else can say is as bad as what we're saying to ourselves." Kenley is hard on himself. Too hard sometimes. I try to remind him how good he is. He's his own worst critic. There was more than usual to criticize early this season. Jansen gave up runs in each of his first 3 appearances, including a game-deciding 9th-inning home run to Joe Panik as well as the blown save in Arizona. By mid-April, he had doubled his blown saves total from last season, when he converted 41 of 42, and was answering more questions about a disturbing drop in his velocity. He was, I think, frustrated is fair to say, Dodgers' first-year bullpen coach Mark Prior said. He obviously has set a very high bar for himself and he was just frustrated with not being able to do what, in his mind, he wanted to do. Obviously, he takes a lot of pride in what he does as a closer. When he lost a couple games and it kind of snowballed from there, frustration is the best way to put it, but he never stopped working. He wasn't getting the ball to do what he wanted. He went to work every single day. He was getting after it every day, watching video, asking what do I have to do to get it back. That never wavered whatsoever. Jansen calls it the most difficult month he has had to endure as a full-time big leaguer. "I feel like, since 2011, I never had a month like that," Jansen said. "You just want to pitch 5-6 innings in one day and make it all up, but it's not going to happen. That extra work would have made up for a lack of work in spring training." Jansen hesitates to second-guess his bosses who designed a spring training regimen seemingly more concerned with letting him rest from 2017 than prepare for 2018. A hamstring injury before he pitched in a spring game amplified the light workload. You can make a case that Jansen shouldn't have been pitching in those early season games, a trip to the DL and a rehab assignment to make up the missed work being a better option in hindsight. Jansen only says it didn't help, and jokes that he will be volunteering to pitch in the Cactus League opener next spring. At least going into it, it made sense. Prior said of Jansen's laid-back spring, "I mean, the goal here is to pitch through October, not through September. But on the flip side, you do have to get ready for the season and it doesn't leave you much margin for error. So you have that little small window and you get a little nicked up and can't pitch. So you're not firing on all cylinders. We're professionals and it might only be game 1, but those games matter. They count. And you look up at the end of the year, especially this year, they're probably going to make a difference." By the time the calendar flipped to May, Jansen had gone through the rest of his spring training on the fly. His velocity gradually crept back up toward normal and, no longer cutting off his stride to protect his hamstring, the movement on his bread-and-butter cut fastball looked more familiar. Over his last 24 appearances, Jansen has converted 16 save chances without a hitch and held opposing batters to a .147 average. But even discounting everything that happened before May 1st, Jansen's strikeout rate is down dramatically, from a career average over 13.7 to under 9 per 9 innings, and he has already walked 9, 2 more than he walked in 68 1/3 innings last season. You can't duplicate last year. Last year is last year. It was a career season last year, Jansen said. "I'm not worried about the strikeouts, to be honest with you. If I get the job done, I get the job done. Here's the thing, if I'm going to pay attention that I'm not striking out guys, then I'm going to dig myself in a hole. Why dig yourself a hole chasing something that I never chased? In my career, I've never chased strikeouts. They just come. This year, if they're down, just live with it and keep going. Get outs. One locker over, Kemp points out with a cackle that he owns Kenley, 2 singles and a strikeout and 3 at-bats, and laughs at Jansen's reflections. There's nothing wrong with Kenley, Kemp said. As bad as he thinks he is, his era is still, like, a 2.00. How many saves does he have? Man, shut up. The bar is high. We play in LA. Once you do something, you gotta do that stuff again the next year. Up next, Dodgers, LHP Alex Wood, 2-5, 4.22 era at Mets, RHP Zach Wheeler, 2-5, 4.82 era, Friday, 4:10 p.m., Sportsnet LA, where available, MLB Network, out of market only.